And I am so confident that this is fixed that I'm even going to put the seat back on. Hey, Freeman here. I'm in the garage shooting a Freeman's Garage extra video for you. This is my kid's four-wheeler and it will only run with the choke on. It is a 2020 Yamaha Grizzly 90cc. I've already tinkered with it for a few minutes before you got here and I'm 99.9764% sure that I know what's going on with it. So what's going on here is it only runs with the choke on or closed, which means less air and more fuel, a richer mixture, which is great for starting a cold engine, but you need a little bit of a leaner mixture when you're going to start riding her around, which means you would open the choke or shut it off, letting more air in. And when we do that, it's dying, which means there's too much air for the amount of fuel. We're not getting enough fuel. Putting things very simply, the easiest way to get more fuel is to adjust the carburetor. Now, the only adjustment that we have on the carburetor is just an idle screw. You turn it in to bring the idle up, you turn it out to bring the idle down. You could think about it as bringing the idle up as giving it more fuel and bringing the idle down as giving it less fuel. Now, that sounds like that would make sense. Just turn it in a little bit, bring the idle up. But the thing is how would it have gone down? Why would we need to bring it up? You're not riding in the four-wheeler and the idle screw is just spinning and jumping around all over the place. So that doesn't really make sense. And before you got here, when I was tinkering around with it, I tried every position I could in and out and just could not get it to run with the choke off. Let's tear into this thing because I think it's a dirty air filter that has let dirt particles get through and into the carburetor, and a little tiny port inside the carburetor is clogged. That's my guess. Let's find out if I'm right. And these giant horseflies are really loud. We're just gonna have to deal with the horseflies. They're outsmarting me right now. Hopefully you can't even hear them. Okay, key on. Got that on, and then we need our parking brake on for this to start. I can't do it with one paw, so we'll do that. Okay, now this is choke off. Oh, that actually sounded promising. Let's give it half a squirt. We'll try to start it again with the choke off. I'll hold the throttle halfway. No throttle. Yeah, it doesn't want to start. Here, we'll go halfway. The choke is half on. Okay, now we got the choke on all the way. As you can probably hear, the battery sounds dead. I got a charger over here. We'll take the seat off and hook the charger up. I think the battery actually needs to be replaced, but that's got nothing to do with what we're trying to fix here. You're smart, you get the point. So let's take the seat off, we'll look at the air filter, and we'll pull the carburetor off, open it up, and see if there's any dirt in there. How dusty and dirty all this is, yeah, it's very possible that this air filter is very dirty, which means that it is on me to teach my kid to clean the air filter more often. It's not the worst I've ever seen, but definitely needs to be cleaned. All we're nice and clean in here. All right, I'm putting an end to this. He left, but he'll be right there. He is. There's not much to do to get this carburetor off. In fact, we could pop this drain off right there. We got one bolt here on each side. It's probably like an 8mm. And then we just need to take the fuel line off right here. And then there's one screw here for this clamp that clamps the rubber air boot, if you will, to the carburetor. And we just unscrew our throttle right there and slide it out the top. And on the other side, we just have that one bolt that I already mentioned. We just loosen that screw so that we can get the choke cable here off of this bracket. Come on, you little minx. There we go. Oh, should probably turn the petcock off. Otherwise we'll have a steady stream of fuel coming out. We'll have a little bit though. But if the petcock was on, it would just drain the tank. In fact, why don't we test the petcock right now? And we'll turn it to on and see if we have a steady flow, because something could be wrong with the petcock or this filter could be clogged. I highly doubt it. I've never taken the carburetor off this engine before. I've never had to, oops, come on, I want to be able to see the stream of fuel. I've never had to do anything on this thing except for change the oil. Alright, ready? Yeah, it's a pretty good flow, more than I wanted to. So now we got gas all over the place, but oh well, we had to find out. Our air fuel mixing computer. Sunworld. Doesn't that sound like a place that sells RVs? We're in our sanitary workspace. This is the clean room. Just ignore all the stuff that isn't clean. And, ooh, I almost picked the screwdriver up and started taking this apart. I want to give it a little visual inspection. Make sure that the choke actually works properly. After superficial examination, the exterior of this carburetor looks fine. I don't see anything going on that shouldn't be. We'll spray the outside off with some cleaner before we disassemble it, just to get some of this just dust and light dirt off. Oh, what the heck happened here? Was that green before I sprayed cleaner on it? We're using brake cleaner because I'm out of carb cleaner. Do as I say, not as I do. And then that happened. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Let's keep going. Draining the float bowl. Now when we take the float bowl off here, we don't want to be all rambunctious. We want to be a little cautious, or just, you know, just be careful what you're doing here, because you don't want to bend the float and change the level of the float. or it's never going to run right unless you get everything set back exactly how it's supposed to be. Looks pretty clean. Ooh! Okay, we got dirtage.
Is it fixed?
It'll be fixed in 5 minutes.
And we can go riding?
Well, probably tomorrow, because 5 minutes means an hour. You can see it's dirty, and I can see a few particles sloshing around in there. I don't know, can you see it? Oh, that was nice. Suppose we better take all this apart. These are clean. We'll still blow them out with some cleaner and some compressed air. I think if we do have a blockage, it's going to be inside here somewhere. So we'll spray out all the passageways with cleaner. I'm going to use this. You should use carb cleaner. Do as I say, not as I do. Then we'll follow up with compressed air. Put it back together. Throw it on the machine. Fire it up. The way I clean carburetors usually is with carb cleaner. Now, there's not a lot of rubber or plastic pieces in here, so I don't have any worry about brake parts cleaner possibly doing something crazy with them. I don't know if that would ever happen anyways, but I'm just usually cautious about that, so I prefer things like carb cleaner. The way I do it is, if there's a passageway, clean it, spray it out. I think this piece might actually be clogged. Yeah, I think it might be. I think I might have a super tiny drill bit in here. No, that's not going to be small enough. I'm sure I have something more appropriate than this, but for right now, we will snag a bristle off of this wire brush. And this is where you watch this go right into my eyeball. And then Freeman's wearing an eye patch from now on. Now, if there is actually something in here that this pushes out, I want to be able to catch it so that I can look at it. Of course, this wasn't going well. So I turned the camera off, and then I broke through. I spent a few minutes poking that wire in and out on both ends, and I actually got it stuck in here at one point, got a little bit worried. Got it out though, and it definitely was clogged. Extra little cleaning. Let's get this carburetor put back together. We'll put it back on the engine, and we'll fire the thing up and see if it's fixed. And it's too late now. It's dark outside. It's 1/2 freckle. So tomorrow, I get to take the kid riding. Let's do this. We just ran into a challenge that might be our Hercules heel. The needle, which goes into the seat, which is down in that hole that my finger's covering, it was hanging off of the float, off of this tab when we took the carburetor apart, and it fell off. And I don't know if it goes that way or that way, so I'm going to make my best guess. We'll see what happens. Let's keep going. Okay, it's all back together. We're going to fire it up in a second. But I wish that before I started messing with it, that I would have took note of exactly where the idle screw was. Because, oh, speaking of where things are, where's my little screwdriver? Here it is, my back pocket. I wish I took note of where it was, because wherever it was is where it was from the factory, brand new, and where it's ran fine the entire time we've owned it. But what we'll do is we will bring it in. Remember, in is idle up, out is idle down. We'll bring it all the way in till it bottoms out. We don't want to crank down hard because we don't want to damage this, so just till it stops. And then let's just go half a turn, 1 turn, 1.5. 1.5 turns. We'll start with that. Just for testing purposes, I threw the dirty air filter back in. If we fix the carburetor, it'll come back out and it'll get a proper cleaning. And I am so confident that this is fixed that I'm even going to put the seat back on, which makes no sense because it's going to have to come right back off to get the air filter out to clean it. Fire it up. We'll go choke off. Oh. Forgot that's in there. Oh, is the fuel on? Alright, fuel's on. Let's see what happens. Oh, it is a really cold-blooded machine anyway, so let's just put the choke on. Even though it's 80 degrees outside right now. Remember, there's no fuel in the float bowl, so we might have to crank for a little bit. I'm gonna get that charger on. Okay. Everything's coming back apart again already. Yeah, I really don't know why I put the seat on. I just thought that would be cool or funny. Okay, that was half choke right there. Here. Okay, choke's off all the way. Choke's off all the way. Yeah! It's best to have the engine warmed up and then set your idle where you want it. So we'll do that tomorrow before we ride it, as well as clean the air filter. That was a success and a fun video to make here on the Freeman's Garage Extra channel. And there's going to be a happy kid tomorrow. That's what it's all about. Don't give up. Keep going. Just dig into things and get it done. You'll figure it out.